What's going on, La La? Hey, we got Tracy back in the house. Yeah, you're early, but that's all right. Early bird gets the worm. What's going on, Thomas? Yeah, I enjoyed the show last night. Boy, we got to talk about that. We got some new evidence. Yeah. Hello, Gene Hudson. Well, welcome to the show. Yeah, everybody. So, yeah, we're going to get it on tonight. We got Tracy back from the trip and everything. So, Tracy, welcome back. So, how you doing?
I am doing well, Chris. How in the heck are you doing?
Doing good. Boy, do we got some, catching up to do. You know
yes, we do.
You would not believe what's been going on. I mean, it's been that kind of crazy. Wow.
Well, let's start with your stuff because
let's hear about you. Yeah, we're going to talk about last night's evidence, Thomas. I mean, I could not sleep last night, ladies and gentlemen. La, you are going to freak out, La. And Thomas, we had people messaging me. We're like, "Did you see this? Did you see that?" I'm like, no, I've never seen that. Are you crazy? So I had to take more pictures to show people, but we will get into that. Let's talk about Tracy. Welcome back, Tracy. How was your trip?
Thanks for having me back. It was great. We Kelly and I had a great time. We went, as you guys may or may not know, we went to London for 8 days and to Paris for a day. Ended up being a day and a half. Long story there, but no, we had a great time. We hit if you guys ever go to London. Use the tube. Before you go, though, study the tube on where it goes and where it takes you. $2.80 takes you basically all over London, and you're on the tube. And unless you check out, then climb back on. It was really cool.
Now, what's the tube? Is that like an inner tube or is that a bus?
No, underground train system.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. It was. We stayed like a block and a half from one. And you hop on there and you could go probably 15, 20 miles any direction, if not further, to get to any of the spots we wanted to go to or anybody would want to go to. We went to the first day we went to the British Museum, and then we hit the just walked the first day we got there. Keep in mind, guys, it's an 8.5-hour flight from Chicago. I couldn't sleep, tried to sleep. So when we got there, we stayed up for basically a total of 36 hours before we went to bed that night. Didn't want to mess up our sleep. And then the first thing we did was we went to the Tower of London. Really wanted to hunt it. I got some pictures of it. I'll show them on here in a little bit. I haven't got them switched over yet. But I took in my EMF. We got to go to the torture room was the last thing, but it was really the tour was a shorter tour because I didn't realize we were there for like an hour and 15 minutes. And we went to Buckingham Palace to watch the changing of the guard and stuff like that. It really wasn't much time at Tower of London, but dude, talk about some cool stories and some cool people. I didn't realize that the security lives there. The army people, the beefeaters, they actually live there. Yeah, I never knew that. That was so cool. And talk about a lot of history. Just great stuff. We hit, I'd say at least 10 really big things that we wanted to hit. And then a lot of smaller stuff. I got my picture on Abbey Road, One of the cool things that we did paranormal wise, and I'll show them in a little bit here. Excuse me. We went to Paris for a day. And we left at like 6 a.m, had to go through customs, took a train over. And I kind of lost track of time, ended up missing our train back. But so we ended up having to stay the night. And if you do that, you got to do a quick trip back, which costs you a lot of money. It was a bummer. But we did the catacombs in Paris. So that was cool to see all the skeletons, hear all the stories. And when you do that tour, there's only a mile or so that you really go into, but it's miles upon miles of it down there. And we actually, I got some good pictures here too of that there's spots in there that they don't take people anymore. They haven't taken them in years. You got to pay a little bit extra or whatever. And through my work, I ended up being able to get that package. So we were able to see some of that. And then one of the final hunts that we did, and we only had I was on a tour group, so it's kind of hard to squeeze it in without them hearing me and trying to figure out what the heck I was doing. We did George Michael from Wham. The cemetery he's buried in, there's 150,000 people buried in this cemetery. And we saw his grave, and obviously, but there's above ground catacombs in there. And on the tour that we took, we were able to get in there, and it's pretty dark in there, but we got some good pictures, a couple little videos doing the EMF in there as well. Back in the 70s, some kids broke into that catacombs, into that building, and busted open a bunch of the wall graves, with the yeah. So there was old 1800s caskets. Some of them are busted open with the bones in them. Those people back in the said thought that vampires. This was actually a movie shot for Vincent Price did a movie there. They do some movies there as well. The Hobbit had was it the Hobbit? It was one of the bigger movies from the
Harry Potter, not Harry Potter, the Grimwald or something.
Oh, okay. Well, one of those bigger movies like the Harry Potter kind of stuff, the Lord of the Rings, stuff like that. One of them did a movie in there as well. But the catacomb stuff was pretty cool. Seeing all those bones from the 1800s, just laying there. So, so then we came back. Obviously, I had to spend the night in Paris. It cost extra money because I missed the train. Military time. When I put it all together, I thought it was 10 o'clock. It was actually 8 o'clock. And then, yeah. And like I said, the catacombs thing was pretty cool at the George Michael thing. I can share my screen, show you a couple pictures of the catacombs in Paris here real quick if you want. Let me see how to do that again. Can you see it?
Yeah,
Chris?
we got a picture up.
Okay, so what this is, guys, and let me go back, see if it goes back at all. This is one of the areas that they don't allow people to see too much, but where'd I go?
Down at the bottom,
What'd
see
I
your
do,
little photographs down at the bottom?
I got it. All right.
There you go.
Maybe. It's not moving, Chris. Wait.
All right.
See what happens here. Let me go back this way one more time here. Well, shoot.
Go on. Do
It's
your
taking a while
messenger. Do it on your messenger instead of StreamYard.
All right. Not getting anything here. Hold on a second. Let me stop sharing. I'm going to reshare again.
Okay.
Oh, wait. There it is, ain't it? Is that on there now, Chris?
And we got a picture on the screen. Les Demontosaurus.
All right, hold on.
Now it's just us two.
All right. Exit out of that. And then I'm going to hit present. Share screen. Facebook. Here we go. I think this is it. Well, that's weird, Chris. It's only let me share one of them now. I just went through like 3 of them. I lost you all together, I think. You still there?
Yeah, it's coming up. Or
I
something.
don't have you on mine at all. There we go. It popped back up for me. Sorry, guys. Now I don't have anything on the bottom. Okay, here we go. Well, let's talk about your stuff here, Chris, while I'm trying to figure all this out.
So FDL, Paranormal, went to this cottage on top of an old coal mine. And 3 people died, and allegedly it was 2 men, and the third person was unknown. And you know how they love to push the envelope, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were not getting anything going on. And so they were sitting there towards the end of the night, and they were like, well, maybe we should read the Book of Solomon or something. And I didn't know what that was. And so they're debating between themselves if they should or should not. And they're like, should we do it or should we not? And when they said, should we not, all their cat balls lit up, which was weird. And they were like, oh my God, mate. You know how they talk. They talk strange, right? So they're like, so they asked again, should we not read from the Book of Solomon? And all the cat balls lit up again. So they're telling them no. So Ryan opens the book. Never mind them, everybody. They're in the dark with only one candle. So they did not read the book, but Ryan's already reading the book in his mind. Yes. FDL, do you want to come to the platform and tell your story yourself? Before I go to explain it all? FDL, let me know. I got the link right here.
Yeah, they invited me to. They invited me to that hunt, and I wish I could have been able to go. We just
you should have went
with the wife and the business. It's kind of hard to squeeze all that in.
Oh, you should have went because you would have made history with them. So let me invite guest copy. And here we go, Michael. I am actually sitting. Then I got to tell you what happened last night. And, I'm not going to say Michael was supposed to get a hold of me yesterday or anything, but no. What does he say? He just said something. No, I've just got into the bed. Well, just cover your heads up. So anyways. They're sitting there, and Ryan looks down. You remember the movie The Ring?
Yeah.
The black-haired girl? Well, Ryan looks down and sees this girl on all fours with black hair that's wet and black smokes coming out of her mouth. Totally loses his crap. Freaks out, starts screaming, we're all going to die. Whatever he says, freaks everybody out. They're trying to light the candles. Nobody can light the candles, right? Because now they're in pure darkness. So all hell's breaking loose. Whatever happened, Michael's trying to get a hold of me. And, something bad's happened. Ryan wants to quit. And I'm like, dude, I'm eating. I'm in between shows. What's going on? And just everything is just bad. So I didn't know we was going to even have a show that Wednesday because that's how bad it was. It freaked everybody out. Mm-hmm. So... And I'm leaving a lot of things out so Michael can tell his own story. But anyways, so Wednesday, we end up having the show. And you know how Ryan usually sits behind the black curtain, right? Yeah. So he's sitting there, and I'm just sitting there watching while Ryan's talking. And I'm like, there's a handprint. A hand's coming through the curtain. And lo and behold, next to Ryan's head, there's a hand. So, and where everybody's like, what? So everybody's jumping off the live and going back and rewinding and looking. And sure enough, there's a handprint.
No kidding.
Yes, a handprint coming through. So Ryan was like, "Is it right here?" And we're like, "Yeah, it's right there." So he opens up the curtains and shows that, hey, there's nobody behind the curtains. There's just a wall and a window. Because curtain rods are only that thick, right? Because it comes
Yep.
out as an L, the L bracket where you hang the curtain rods on.
Mm-hmm.
So Yolanda later that night is like, "Hey, I'm wearing earbuds, right? And you ain't gonna believe what I caught." I'm like, "What?" She says, "I caught an EVP." I'm like, "What'd you catch?" She's like, "I caught a girl going." I'm like, "No, get out of here. Check this out. I got it spooled up.
Do it.
Now I'm gonna play it 3 or 4 times to let you hear it because it's freaky." Here we go. You can hear Ryan talking.
Just for it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. It's not a good. It's not a good. It's not a good idea, is it? It's not a good idea.
You hear it?
Yep.
It's not a good idea, is it? It's not a good idea, is it?
So Yolanda caught that. Yolanda caught that. And so the girl, allegedly, the story goes, the dynamite evidently blew up in the mine. And it killed all 3. And the mine filled up with water, allegedly. I guess the girl drowned, or I guess something like that. But the attachment must have went home with Ryan and appeared on the show during live.
Oh.
While we were filming. Yes, this happened all live. So, and then after the show, people were like, "Grizzly, her face came through the curtain." So now people are sending me pictures of this girl's face coming through the curtains, and it was all freaky and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it was like, oh my God, no. So last night, Lala, the week before, Lala's like, "Well, we're going to do a session on one of your dolls. Let's do the one with the broken face," because it was really heavy. And she said that she said that somebody put her spirit inside that doll. And I'm like, "What?" And somebody said, maybe there's ashes inside the doll because the doll is actually heavier than a normal doll. So last night, I've actually started getting pictures because I showed people a snapshot of my dolls. And ladies and gentlemen, this was freaking me out last night. So Lala read the dolls, and the dolls are happy that I'm here. And Lala was telling me, about this doll and everything else. And it's just a story. But then I started getting these pictures, and I'm like, "No way." And I was like, "Check this out." So I went, took a picture real quick and sent it to somebody. I'm like, "This is what they look like now." I'm like, "There's no way that happened." And they're like, "Are you joking?" I'm like, "No, I'm not joking. I just took a picture." I'm like, "That was live." Now check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Now this freaked me out. Now, and I've been reading my Exorcist Bible prayers all day today. I did cleansings all day. You can go ahead and laugh. Why does everybody laugh when I talk about this stuff? But this is interesting. So I'm going to show you some pictures.
Okay.
Let's see here. What did I do with them? Here we go. So we're going to go to picture number 1. All right, here we go. Now this, I don't know how she caught, but this freaked me out. This is one of the Japanese dolls, right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. And action. Now check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Look at it. It's backwards. It's hidden. Look at its feet. Its
feet are upside down.
Yes, it's backwards. All right, that's exhibit A. Now, I did not touch these dolls. Now, watch the next picture. Where did it go? It stood up.
Yep.
Now, look at this one. Look at the dolls.
Looks like
look
the
at the
feet
doll's
backwards.
feet.
Yeah.
The feet, see the arm?
Mm-hmm.
It's standing towards the wall.
But its head's facing you.
That's a different doll.
Oh.
Yes. Now, next exhibit. The doll that was facing out moved. Now it's trying to hide its face. This was during the live. I had no idea this was going on. And Science Bob and everybody's like, we're hearing voices. We're hearing voices. I'm like, it's not from my side. I'm watching my audio bar. I'm not hearing no sound from my end. It can't be. Let's see if I got another picture here. Now look, it moved again. This time it dropped down to look.
What's it looking at?
Hell if I know.
It ain't staring at you because it's looking like a wall behind you, right?
It's above my head.
But
So
they're all standing up, right? I mean, for the most part. So they're not laying down looking at you. They're standing up.
No, they're standing up. So this somehow has bent over and moved to look in between the two big dolls that are standing out front right here. See?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one with the cracked face.
Yeah.
This one is extra heavy, and this is the one that Lala said that somebody has, I don't know, bonded the doll, but they thought maybe the ashes were in there, and that freaked me out, right? Putting somebody's ashes in there, because I don't know if this is real hair or not, because it's real fuzzy. You know how hair gets on a hot, humid day or a rainy day, and it gets all fray and fuzzy?
Yes, I do.
So, yeah, is that not strange how that happened like that?
Yeah, and Eric makes a good point that just trying to move them around on your own would knock one of them down. You know, they're kind of tightly fit in there. You'd think something would fall if you were trying to move one and, you know, purposely try to move one to make it look different.
I didn't know anything about it until I started getting messages. I was getting ready to get up from the studio desk, and I started getting messages like, Grizzly, you got to check this out. And I'm like, what do you mean check what out? And I'm like, that's not what I'm looking at. And I took a picture right away and I sent it to her. And I'm like, that's not what I'm seeing. And she's like, this was on your live.
Well, even the one with the cracked face would have fallen over if somebody would have reached up there to try to move it. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
Well,
I believe
you would
it.
have saw me during the live with my arms, because everything's above my head. You would have saw me during the live move them.
Yeah.
So then Lala, you know, had to get me to get my cat balls out and put them on my mic boom, and they start going off. Then Eric, did you see my new REM pod skull EMP REM pod?
Oh, that's cool. Where'd you get that?
Eric, he makes them. The eyes lights up. And for some reason the spirits love it, and it kept going off during the show, freaking me out. And all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was just crazy.
Hey, Eric, PM me after this show if you wouldn't mind. I might buy one of those from you.
Yeah, Eric's in here, aren't you, Eric?
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
He made the show, Eric. Yeah, but he's sending me a dragon too. I'm getting a dragon from him. We're gonna do a show. He does a standby paranormal show. We're hooking up too. But man, I'm let me tell you something. It was freaky last night. Now, Lala's a psychic medium. Her boyfriend, fiance, Science Bob, is a scientist, rocket engineer, PhD, MD, whatever you want to call him. He knows everything. She deals with UFOs, aliens, fairies, you name it, she's got it.
Yeah.
And she uses dowsing rods. And these damn things, you ask her a question, they will smack you in the face. And when it goes to a yes, and she was asking, man, it was crazy. Roger says, I'll be getting rid of these dolls. That's why I said, Thomas, That's why I said we're going to be talking about the dolls after we talk about Tracy's trip, because I read that Exorcist book all day today about prayers, about protection prayers, but Lala confirmed that the dolls are not out to hurt me. They are now. She did confirm I do got that evil one, the evil twin one, does not like me. She did confirm that. So, hey, Rita, welcome everybody to the show. If I didn't welcome Rita Thompson, hello there.
You need to watch out for those dolls.
Yeah, I know, man. Then you got FDL Paranormal, lifting down the veil and seeing the ring lady. Now, that would freak me out.
Yeah, that would have. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go to that one then if that was the case, because I would have ran off like a little girl screaming.
I would have made my own doorway like Scooby-Doo into the wall. I would have made my own door.
Yeah, I tell you what, they did ask us to go, and we were over there, and we just had so much stuff going on.
You should have went, because you would have had an experience of your lifetime on that.
Yeah.
So there's Eric right there. That's Eric Thompson. He's the one that does the REM pods.
Yeah, Eric, hit me up after this if you wouldn't mind. I might pick one of those skull ones up from you. Yeah, it is wild. That is, and you did your exorcist stuff today. I'm sure you said your prayers and put some holy water out too, huh?
You better believe I put some holy water out. You better believe I did. Hi, Luna. Welcome to the show. Hey, Brian. The REM pod went off every time a truth. So Lala was answering people's questions. And I'm just sitting here like, da, 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 da. And Lala would answer a question. The REM pod would go, and I was like, no way. And she was like, do you want me to do? And it was like, it was like freaking me out. I mean, it was just crazy. And then getting the pictures and the ball going bloop, 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 bloop. Yeah, oh man, it was just, it had me up late last night. I assure you that, ladies and gentlemen. Because I kept looking at those pictures, I'm like, how are those dolls moving? And then Science Bob was like, I'm hearing voices. And people are like, I'm hearing voices. And I'm like, I'm not hearing anything, but I did hear cheese. And everybody's like, I heard cheese. And they kept hearing mumbling. But we couldn't figure out, hey, Judy, welcome to the show. But we couldn't figure out where it was coming from. So,
and what started all of it?
Lala's show.
Okay, her talking about it. Okay, yeah.
She read one of the dolls. I'm afraid to touch her.
That's right.
She said somebody put a spirit into this doll. Lala, get out here and say something. I know you're still in here. Lala said that somebody put her into the doll. So people in the audience are like, maybe it's ashes. Maybe that's why it's so heavy. Because this doll weighs almost a half a pound. I got my scale out and weighed it. Because I kept trying to tell everybody this doll weighs heavier than the average doll. So, yes.
Have you thought about setting it outside and then seeing if it makes its way back in?
What are you trying to do? That's what, see? And you're like the other one. Yeah, go ahead, Grizzly. Go ahead and set it out in the moon and cleanse it. No. I told Lala about that. She's like, don't do that. I'm like, well, I almost did. Well, I almost set them all out in the moon like that. Remember that 1 month?
Mm-hmm.
And you almost making fun of me, and you almost got me to do it until somebody messaged me like, Grizzly, don't do that. That's a no-no. Nicole really enjoyed last night's show. Well, I didn't. I was so scared. So, I started GoFundMe for holy water.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but poor FDL and Ryan, it shook Ryan up, then seeing that come home. So then we had the show with the Australians, right? The psychics all from Australia. And Michelle, she started acting weird during the show. And she just start acting weird. And later on that night, I got a message that she made contact with that woman over in UK, and she sent her to the light. So evidently, she took care of that lost soul. Evidently.
Oh,
So
good.
yes, yeah, but it was some, and I mean, y'all laugh, but oh, look at there. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Lala. Yeah, but that was wild. That was a wild show. And my heart is like great. I mean, I told them last night if I had to hook up an EKG, it would probably blow up and run out of ink.
Yeah. Well, I know is if you ever cancel on a Wednesday night, I'm gonna be worried as can be about you, Grizz. I'll be like,
Man, it
I know
was
he wouldn't miss
something.
it. I know he wouldn't miss it. What's going on?
But I mean, people were just catching stuff off the live show, and like Yolanda, she was wearing ear. I mean, you heard the EVP.
Yep.
I mean, right during the live interview, with FDL. So it's like, what the hell, man? I mean, will we turn into The Exorcist? We're gonna have our own stuff flying around again, like I did like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
So, but I did, I did, and my family showed up. They're like, "What are you reading today?"
I blinked, and I blinked on the doll.
Oh, yes. I forgot to tell you. So I'm holding the doll in front of the camera, and it blinked. Now these eyes on the doll don't blink. I showed the camera. I flipped it. I turned it. I did everything. They don't blink. They do not blink. I even tried to pull the eyes down. He didn't. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, did that just not blink? So they had to stop the live and go back. They're like, Grizzly, it blinked. It did blink. I was like, I thought it blinked. It really blinked live on camera. Tracy, it really did. It freaked me out. And they're like, oh, well, the eyes get stuck sometimes. I'm like, it don't get stuck. They don't blink. These are not blinking eyes. It's not funny.
No.
How'd you know about the blinking eye?
Somebody said something on the side there. In one of the comments, they ask about.
Did they? Oh, yeah, Tammy, thank you. Yeah, the blinking eye. Yeah, that was crazy. It winked. It went. That's not funny. And when it caught it on camera, why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. It's just the way you tell it, dude.
It was nuts. It ain't funny. Why's everybody got to laugh?
The way you say it.
Oh, my God. My dolls are freaky, Rita. You cracked me up, too.
My dog blinked at me.
It did. That ought to be a song.
Yeah, I'm going to write one. Oh, man. Oh, shit.
And I don't have high blood pressure either. I don't. Damn. I got low blood pressure.
No, I tell you what, man, you got some crazy stuff that happens inside that studio there.
I do. I know. But I read that book all day today from like 9:30 this morning until right before dinner for the show. Huh. And all these different prayers, the St. Benedict and St. Joseph. Oh, yeah. I sure did.
Do you ever have anything in the rest of your house?
No. Oh. Then during the show, we're just sitting here talking, and the whole desk gets slammed. Like somebody dropped a big yellow page book on the top of the desk. And everybody heard that, and it freaked the living you-know-what out of me out.
Well, I bet.
And I looked around during the commercial. Nothing fell. Nothing got knocked over. I forgot about that part. Yeah, I about had a heart attack, Nicole. So, I mean, everybody heard that. And I was just sitting here motionless when that happened. So, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Joanne said I would have burnt them. You can't burn them. That's even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, you got something on your hands there, Grizz. I wish I could help you and tell you how you get rid of them, but I have no clue.
But they love me. Lala said they love me.
Well, if they didn't, something would already happen to you probably, right?
I don't say that. Don't say that. Did you figure out your pictures yet?
You want to do your commercial, and I'll see if I can figure them out.
We ain't going to commercial. I'm too scared to go to commercial. My luck, they're going to start dive bombing off the top. That's my next fear. I look up, to see if anything's going to jump at me.
Yeah.
So, but Lala pointed out the one that does not like me, so I know where she stands now in the group. So yes, Tammy says it was hilarious. Why is everything it's hilarious? Even you're laughing. So,
All right, I think I figured it out here, Grizz. Can you see
here
it?
we go. Action.
Can you see him?
Yes, there we go.
All right, let me go back towards the beginning here, baby. All right, so this is like one of the rooms in the I was going to say cotton candy, in the catacombs over there in Paris. It's about 90 foot in the ground. This is just a guy that I believe, if I remember right, he worked there, and on his breaks and stuff, he'd go in this back cave kind of, and he would carve, right? So he'd carve what was above ground, 90 feet above him. And that's all stone. It's actually pretty cool. And I know that's not what everybody really wants to see, but I just was showing you this because unless you do like the special tour, there's only a few tours a week that'll take you down to this part of it to show it. I don't know. Maybe they were full, telling me a load, whatever, but these were private rooms. So this is just the walkway down. You can see it is either rock or it was kind of like this. All the bottom stuff there that you're walking on, that's all original stuff. That's original walkways. That's that room I was talking about from further away. You can see it. I did a panoramic of it. It's just really cool how they carve that stuff in it. We're going to start getting to the cool stuff here in a minute, though. This is the steps that lead you even further down into the catacombs. And here's the cool stuff. There's all kinds of these signs down there. Most of them are in French. But this is like 100 and some odd feet in the ground. And all these people, they had so many people dying throughout the years, and they had to have a place to put them. And back a long time ago, they dug up these caverns throughout the whole city, just holes, and took everything out of them, all the rock that they could to build the city. And they mined so far underground, they never filled them back in. So even back in like 2003, they had a building collapse on a sinkhole. Basically, these are sinkholes underground that they never filled back in, right? They're all across the city of Paris. And nobody knows when the next one's going to fall because they build them all over. So all these people, those are all femur bones, every single bone in the body, skulls and stuff like that. Let me pull up this one here, maybe. Oh, here's a little video. I was doing trying to do a EMF session there. I don't think my audio's on. Oh, here we go. Trying to get it to change colors. But then after like 20 of these sessions, I also did EVP sessions too. Didn't really get anything. No, it didn't change color. Then I realized I needed to maybe talk in French. So change the color in French is change la couleur. So in the other ones I did, you could see that I was actually using that. Let me see. Oh, back to that picture. Hold on a second here. Okay, so that was the last kind of one. I have a bunch of pictures. I didn't want to bore everybody with it, though. I'm going to go to the catacombs, like I said, was cool. There's bones everywhere. There's a couple tombs down there. There's there's only one tombstone down there from a gal that they don't even know if she's down there. But they put it down there. They had found the tombstone, and that's what they did. These go for miles upon miles. It's all basically the same stuff. You see bones, and you don't have any service down there. I did use a different camera, a video camera, to video stuff down there as well. On Paralink.com and on my Facebook page, I'll eventually have all that stuff on there, and on Paralink.com's Facebook page. The next pictures I'm going to show you is where, of course, like I said, George Michael's buried, right? It is the Highgate Cemetery in a different part of London, and there's 150 some odd thousand people buried in this. There are a few spots left, and they're still burying people, but it's 60,000 pounds right now for a spot if you want to be buried there. I just took some pictures of the monuments there. There should, is built in 1839. This is the outside, the entrance into it. That's a little cathedral. I'm going to have to send some more pictures my way from my phone for this, Grizz. But give me a minute here. I'll send a few more pictures here.
Okay.
We were talking just a second. Sorry, guys. I'm going to send, I'll show the George Michael thing too. If somebody, George Papalopoulos or something like that's his name on it. Panopotamus, hippopotamus, I don't know. But it's going to take a minute to come through. I'm going to stop sharing right now. I'm going to come back to you while these are coming through because it's going to take a minute. Can you see me, Chris?
Yes, I sure can.
Because I can't see you. I'm not sure what's going on with my computer. Let me send some more of this. Okay, there we are. Give me a couple minutes. I'll send some more to it. But I told Michael with FDO, they need to go over to that Highgate Cemetery because when you see these other pictures that I send, I show you guys, it's just a body length, and then there's another tombstone, then a body length, another tombstone for as far as you can see. And they go back into the early 1800s, and it's really, really cool. But it's taken a couple minutes to send from my phone. Here we go. Let me send a few more here. And there's also, like I said earlier, there are above ground catacombs there that I'll pull up some pictures of here real quick. You can actually see inside them in the 60s or early 70s. People thought that there were vampires in there. One younger gentleman convinced the town there was vampires there. So they went on a vampire hunt. And so eventually they kept going there all the time. And all these people kept going there believing there's witches, vampire hunts, and all that stuff. So they broke into these catacombs to check the coffins to make sure people were there, but to also steal belongings, right? Let me see if they pulled up here real quick. It might take a minute to download there, Chris. So it was really pretty cool. Let me see if I can pull them up now and make sure they come up. Come on, baby.
Solely on donations.
Yeah, and now they run basically on donations, and then buying a plot, of course, is the other thing. But no one's really going to spend $60,000 for a plot.
A lot of people know it.
Yeah.
Land's expensive over there.
Yeah, for that it is definitely. Yeah, but each plot you buy can be 10 people. Up to 10 people can be buried right on top of each other. They dig straight down. So that's pretty cool. They have the old mausoleums. They had windows. They're buried in the ground, but the entrance you can go in, but you walk up a hill so you see the backside of it, and then there's open windows. Used to be windows you could look down into it to see it. It was like, yeah, it was really beautiful at the time. It was pretty cool. If you're into old stuff like that. Now, Jim Morrison, I see Nicole ask about Jim Morrison. He's buried in Paris. So we were over there on the Eiffel Tower. We were talking with the tour guide, and he's like, we asked him, we said, hey, where's the Jim Morrison? We're going to go look at it. He goes, hey, go look at it all you want, but don't take a picture with it. And I said, what do you mean? He said, there's all kinds of stories over there, and it's probably, just urban legend, whatever. But people that take a picture with it have bad things happen to them. And he's like, he knew, of course he's a tour guide, right? Oh, I know this guy that had this happen and this person that had this happen, stuff like that. So it was pretty cool to hear that. But after that, I was like, I didn't really want to go get a picture taken with it. We were already strapped for time anyway, because I missed my train ride back, Grizz. I got back
That's
I thought it was 10 o'clock, but it was 8 o'clock. And, so we're there at 9 o'clock because we got there early, and we're walking around the train station. I'm like, hey, where's the train? And there ain't no train. So we ended up staying the night across the street in a hotel room. And yeah, it was a costly mistake for me. It's going to take them a couple minutes to download these, Chris. For some reason, my computer is acting up, so bear with me. So what all did you do while I was gone here, Chris?
Nothing really. Just did my thing with my shows and stuff. So, what other good places did you go see?
We saw Windsor Castle.
That's where we met.
Yeah, that's where we met Mike with FDL, him and his wife, and Nicola with his team, and then their Mike and Nicola, his wife Nicola's daughter. They were there. Great people, super nice people. So hey, everybody, I got to meet FDL in person. A great group of people, funny, very polite. They treated us great. You know, showed us around right there, what we talked to us about, what we should do, shouldn't do. You know. And yeah, I mean, they live outside of town. So, you know, it's really cool that they actually took the time to come 2 hours to come see us, you know. So, and they had never been to, believe it or not, to the Windsor Castle. So they wanted to go. And of course, the Queen is buried in Windsor Castle, and we couldn't take pictures inside the castle. Some people were taking them. We didn't want to be disrespectful, you know, we're their guests. So we didn't take, you know, there's enough pictures online for everything. Tons of people buried in there. I would love to do a ghost hunt inside of that place, but that's never going to happen. Right? Yeah. Right. And William Shakespeare's buried in there too. We did the Tower of London, like I said, going into the torture room, which was we didn't get to go into Blood Castle there. We wanted to go into the Blood Castle inside of there. We didn't get to go into it. We went into the torture room, which is cool. There's only one piece of torture equipment down there, but that's enough for me. Went into the oldest part of the Tower of London, which was the big white building, and talk about awesome. That was really, really cool. They had all the original floor, you know, they had the flooring, they had you could tell the fireplaces were where the kids were killed that were left, you know, King Henry III, Richard III. He wanted to he couldn't become king unless those kids were dead, because they were his brother's sons, and his brother passed. So nobody knew where they were for years. They just disappeared one day, and then they found them buried in this stairwell inside the walls of it. So yeah, and they had the opening right there. That was pretty cool. I did do an EMF right there for a couple minutes. Didn't really get anything. It was kind of a rush because, like you said, we're on a tour. If you're going to do this stuff, guys, if you want to skip the line, do the tour, because that's what we did. We love skipping the lines with all our tours. But if you really want to, the catacombs is cool. You had plenty of time to do that. But that one right there, the Tower of London, just go there, do a regular tour, or you know, get in line early, and sneak in your EMF or a recorder or something like that, and just walk away from everybody, because no one's with you on the tour. You're just getting in there. They let you go on your own. What else did you do? We did Big Ben. Obviously, walked out, saw Big Ben and Parliament, which was awesome. And Abbey, Winchester Abbey, Westminster Abbey. Sorry, we went to Westminster Abbey, which is a beautiful place on the inside. All those people, famous people, buried there. That's where Shakespeare's buried. Yeah. And yeah, Henry VIII was at Windsor. And then, boy, I tell you what, went to Abbey Road, got my picture walking across the road, got Kelly's picture walking across the road.
That's awesome.
I dropped my business card off for the music to Abbey Road Studios to a guy that was walking out of it. I said, hey, he said, I'll show it around to people. I said, all right, thanks, man. Ain't heard nothing back. He probably just threw it on the ground when we went inside, you know. We went to Harrods over there, that huge department store. Oh my God, that's just a mess. I mean, guys, if you want to spend a lot of money, go there. But if you want to go be elbow to elbow with the millions of people, go there. But it wasn't my thing. I felt overwhelmed with just so many people there. We went to Camden Markets over there. It's just a street long full of markets and buildings. You know, they have stores and all that stuff. And you're wall to wall to people there, but at least you're outside. Yeah. It was, went to Moulin Rouge whenever we were over in Paris. We didn't go in. We were kind of short on time after doing the catacombs and the Eiffel Tower. But we went outside, walked around, walked that area a little bit, had a crepe there. That was pretty cool. Crepe, whatever. And then, yeah, I mean, we did a lot of stuff. We squeezed it all in. So it was very,
that's good.
I was very happy with what we did. Just a second here. Trying to pull this other pictures that I sent myself up. Sorry guys, I should have been better prepared. I didn't know I could even do this on here. And my messenger's frozen. So but yeah, man, it was a great time. Can't complain. You know,
Looked like y'all had fun. That's the main point.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we took over money on a gift card, on different gift cards because we didn't want to take a bunch of cash. We went to Jamaica last year and we used gift cards everywhere, but they're all swipe gift cards. So when you're in London and Paris, it's tap. They want to go with the tap and chip. Sometimes not even the chip. It's just straight up tap, the tap cards. So we were unable to use those gift cards except at a few places, but it wasn't no big deal. I had a credit card that we could utilize. But yeah, and man, Yolanda was our Crazy Witch. It was great. It was really good. We wouldn't miss it. Hey, I'll tell you something that's pretty cool too, Grizz. Over there this time of year, the high's like 75, if even that, and it gets down to like the 50s. So where we stayed, there was no air conditioning in this high-rise hotel, and you just opened the windows, and it was beautiful. We walked in every night, probably around 7 or 8 o'clock at night to rest for a minute. Walked probably 5 miles a day, and then it was just it was nice, and it was really, and the people over there were, believe it or not, and just like you talked to Michael and them, super, super nice. Ethnicity everywhere, different ethnicities from everybody, and everybody got along. Yeah, you never really heard any friction from anybody. We did the tube, like we said, in the railroad thing with 100 people in the tube with you, standing right next to each other, nobody complaining. It was a little bit different from what I'm used to, and whenever I go downtown St. Louis or Chicago or something like that, there's always something crazy like that going on. Give me just a second here to see if it popped up. Tracy Inman. We'll see if it comes up. Give it a minute. So what did you end up doing any of these podcasts when I was gone, or did you take a little hiatus?
No, we had Dr. Carroll fill in for you. It wasn't the same, but he filled in. So yeah. No,
awesome. They everything over there, and FDL talked about this before, is old. I mean, not everything, but there's so much old stuff, so much old history, that if you could go over there and like he does, he finds places to hunt outside the city. But dang, man, you could go inside the city and hunt tons of places. Paris, as soon as we got off the train station, we walked about 2 miles downtown, and architecture, beautiful. Everything had a little bit different architecture, but it's all the same color, and it's all old. Yeah, I don't think there'd be a hard time finding a place, if you lived in Paris, finding a place to hunt there either. Just so much history. Man, I wish you could have been there. I wish everybody listening could have been there. Or if you guys get a chance to go, it's definitely good. And Yolanda, nothing weird really happened. I was hoping to get something at the catacombs, and just blanks. I did some EVP sessions. Got back home, started listening through them. Didn't really hear any weird noises or anything like that. The catacombs at the Highgate cemetery, I did the same thing, but we were a little bit rushed in there, so I only did like 25-second, 30-second intervals on trying to get a hunt, trying to get the lady doing the hunt was a really nice lady, but I don't think she appreciated me hanging back like I was and trying to break away. But it definitely a good time, definitely a good change to get away. Brian had a question, and I evidently.
Yeah, about did you do the Jack the Ripper? I had it up.
Oh yeah. Thank you for asking that. I'm glad you said that. We did. We went to White Castle, right? Whitechapel. I'm sorry. It's been a long week since I got back. It took us a while to get acclimated to our time again. So Whitechapel is pretty cool. There was only five murders that happened, and he's a serial killer from those 5 murders from all that time ago. And the tour guide was really cool. He talked. Yeah. Well, I'll have it on video on downloaded onto paralink.com and my Facebook pages and stuff like that. But he talked like the guy from, you ever see There's Something About Mary, that movie? And there's that guy and that claims to be the doctor, and he's like, and blow me hole, didn't shiver me timbers. Mary just did this, and then she just did that. He talked kind of like that. It was a perfect accent for the guy that needed to do this. So you start off outside of Whitechapel. He actually went backwards with it because it's uphill. So we started uphill and went downhill because we had some people that it's a long walk. They didn't want to walk uphill the whole way, so we walked downhill. But really, the first murder that took place, the whole tour, they tell us about who they think it is, who they could be. Then they also say they debunk those people as they're going, right? So the very first stop is kind of in a scary part of London. It's the only area of that whole tour, or the whole time I was there, that I felt like probably should leave, before it gets dark. A lot of, I'm not trying to sound any way other than just personal preference, right? But it's pretty cool. They tell you about the first death, and they're talking about where these people had to stay the night. Back then, they would have a little hostel, I guess is what they called it. There's another word for it. But people would pay, if you wanted to sleep on a paper-thin mattress, doubled up, it was like 10 pence back in the late 1800s. But on that mattresses were people that slept for years. So you had lice, you had urine, you had all kinds of stuff on those mattresses, right? They were so crowded that if you wanted to do half a mattress, it was 5 pence. But all these people are so poor, all they had was 1 pence. So if you wanted to stand up and hang over a rope and sleep, that was like 2 pence. But you're shoulder to shoulder, everybody they'd stretch a rope across the room, and that's how they would sleep. Or if you wanted to just stand there next to each other, shoulder to shoulder, and sleep standing up, that was 1 pence. And everything back then, the beer or gin was a pence. That's why everybody drank gin. It was a pence. That's a big drink over in London now, even is gin. Prostitutes were a pence. That's just how it was at that time. The streets back then in the 1800s were all sewers. You watch these movies, the Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that, and it's true. I mean, that's what they're talking. Back then, that part of the city didn't have modern anything. People would just go in a bucket, throw it out in the road. And cholera was a big thing that killed a lot of people. Cholera, yeah. And then he takes you. We'd walk past these pretty cool old buildings, old flats right next to each other. You go about 4 or 5 blocks. That would take you to your second murder. But those old buildings, you could tell they were pretty expensive, and it's right by the famous the Tin Bill, Tin Bills. Yeah, 10 Bills Tavern, which is still there from that time period. That's where everybody at that time went and drank, and that's where they believe that the guy, this tour guide believes that one of her friends is the one that was actually Jack the Ripper. He told us a bunch of different stuff. You have to read up on it. I think we have it on film, him talking about a little bit of it. And like I said, I'll put that up. But that was where another murder had taken place, about a block away from there. But the whole Whitechapel area, it ended up being about a 3-mile walk probably. And he was talking about how you can imagine at that time it wasn't a big city, because when you go to the actual city, there's 2 cities. There's actually London. There's London and there's City of London. 2 different locales. It's a borough. So when you get out of London, you're in the city of London. And back then there was only like 4 or 5 great big buildings, but that was the business area. And fog was so bad that you couldn't see more than 10 foot in front of you. And they had around the city of London itself, that borough, they had walls put up around, and there's buildings there and little shacks and all that there for the business people, lawyers and all that. And this woman got killed in there. But the fog was so thick, the guy, one of the Bobby or whatever, was walking through, and he heard stuff, but he couldn't see it. And then the next thing you know, Jack the Ripper, what he did was he cut him like this. Then he'd go down their sternum, he'd pull out their innards, and then he'd cut their face up really bad and cut their nose off and stuff like that. And when the fog lifted a little bit, that cop saw it. But by that time, they shut off everything, and they had reporters back then, believe it or not, at that time, that were following Jack the Ripper just like they do now with everything, paparazzi, and they were trying to keep all of them out, but they didn't realize that some of these buildings had back doors that went out into London from the city of London. So he was able to escape through there. And then they blamed a Freemason on one of the murders because somebody scribed something on a wall in chalk, and the only thing that they could figure out was the verbiage of it was what Freemasons used, was the verbiage. So they had a suspect there, but before the reporters could get over there to look at it, the police wiped it down. Like they only saw it once and they washed it all off because they didn't want the reporters to think at that time it was like the third killing. They didn't want it to be a big, highly publicized. People don't come to London no more, stuff like that. Worry all those all the people that were there in Whitechapel. It was really neat. It was pretty cool. I suggest anybody, if you go over there to do the tour. I mean, I had a lot of people tell me, it's all hokey and stuff, but it wasn't. It was really interesting. It was an interesting tour. So
here's some questions for you. Brian
Sure.
wants to know, did J.J. Holmes come up?
No.
And do you think Jack the Ripper escaped to the U.S.?
They said that possibly.
They said everything was possible, and that was one of the things. They said he could have escaped and came to the U.S. and then died over here. Now, one thing that they said about Jack the Ripper was before that, was it before or after, Kelly? The guy that lived down, there was a guy that was a serial killer, but he moved away for a few years after the Jack the Ripper stuff. And he came back and he got married, right? He got married and he poisoned his first wife, but they didn't realize that because he was a middle-class guy, had a good job, this and that.
Poison.
Yeah, so then he got married again like 6 months later. And about 4 or 5 months into it, she died of poisoning. So then the next time, that person died of poisoning. And then they started thinking, hey, this guy's a serial killer. So they started finally getting into him. So that fourth wife, the police, if I remember right, the police told her about it and to watch herself. And she still married him. And did she end up dying? No, I don't think she died. I think she got really sick. And, because he was giving her just a little bit of poison at a time. And so what they figured out then was he was in Whitechapel during that time of Jack the Ripper. But they don't think it was him because of it wasn't similar in the killing styles, right? The one guy was slicing the throat, cutting him up. This guy was just poisoning him, but they were both serial killers. A lot of people believe that guy that poisoned his wives is the one that was Jack the Ripper. Nope.
And
Nobody knows it's called.
What is a pence?
A pence is a cent, a penny to us. A pound is $1.
And did you go to the Bridge of London?
Yes. We went to the
Tower Bridge or the
we went to the Tower Bridge, and we went underneath the tower, the London Bridge itself. Tower Bridge, of course, is right by the Tower of London, and it was that was beautiful. It was pretty cool. Yeah, and then the Tower or the London Bridge, that song "London Bridge is Coming Down" is based off of a queen over there that was taxing, and that song's based off a taxing thing with the queen. You'd have to look it up. she was taxing people coming over, and actually I think she was doing wrong is what they were saying. So then they started, when they ousted her, they were saying London Bridge is falling down. But the Tower of London is the one that's creepy, and it's really, really old. Jack the Ripper, my wife Kelly thought that was a doctor as well too. And then in the walk, some of the people, some of the stories could have been a doctor as well. It could have. Oh yeah. So then another possibility, but they don't think it was this guy, a royal, one of the member of royalty, but he was gone for a year during one or two of those killings. Yeah, because he patronized prostitutes, and he ended up having a baby with a prostitute. And of course, the queen and all the other royalty sent her away. And he went away for a year. And during that time, there was like one or two killings. So they don't think it could have been him. But he was known.
He had syphilis.
Yeah. And he ended up dying of syphilis. Yeah. So
Yeah.
not a good way to go back then.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You
even
got some
back
good
then.
questions there, Tracy.
Yeah. 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 Ask all the questions you guys want about it. If I can tell you the answer, I'll give you an answer. We went and saw Sherlock Holmes, 221B. That was cool. Let me see if I can't share this now, Chris. It looks like it may have popped up. Share screen. Chrome tab. It just took a while to pop up, I guess. Okay, share. All right, let me do this here. Let's see if it'll pop up like that by clicking it.
Yeah, the movie
Yeah,
Gangs of New York came to mind. I was thinking the same thing, Yolanda. I remember that movie.
We did. What else did we do? Oh, we climbed the O2 tower over there.
Anyone in there? Don't touch that.
So this right here is just, I was trying to do an EVP. Like I said, only had like 30-second sessions. This is at the Highgate. Let me see if I can't find some different pictures here, starting off. All right, I showed that one. All right, that was just an entrance to, if I remember right, that is where they kept they didn't believe in cremation back then, except for a few people. So they tried to bury everybody. There's huge monuments in here. Back in the 1800s, early 1900s, it was massive. People preferred to spend their money on death for the most part versus a lot.
Catholic Church didn't approve cremation, I think, until the 60s, I think, or something.
And that might be right. That's why there's only a few.
On that.
So here's some above ground catacombs. They have doors, and you can see there's a lot of people buried in them. Go to the next one here, but that we already did that. Let me go to the next one. So this is inside the catacombs. Like I said, these are just plates, and they were concrete plates, tombstones. You can barely see the writing on them. But when those people broke in, they busted them open. They broke open a lot of these caskets, and of course now there's just, some of them are just dust. Some of them, have bones and whatever. But they stole from them too. Here's another one. You can see how old those caskets are. Yeah, there was actually a famous doctor that was one of the first doctors in the 1800s to dissect and stuff like that. He was pretty cool. I got one of his pictures in here somewhere. I think that's it right there. That's actually a huge casket. You can't see it. He's like 6'8" and weighed 400 pounds. But when I was in there, like I said, I do have some doing a few things with the EVP. But like I said, I didn't really grab anything. We were just kind of bent for time. That's all the pictures I think I have on there for right now. The next one we do, Chris, the next time we do a show, I'll get on it a little bit ahead of time, and I'll have the just the pictures of the outside of it where the the tombstones and all. I just show a couple of them. It's really cool if you guys get over there. It's just a tube ride, 15-minute tube ride from where we were, center of London, and you walk up a hill, about 10-minute walk, and you get right to it. Just ask for the George Michael Cemetery is what they'll tell you. But it was really, really neat. It's so old. There used to be a view of London, the city, from there, but you can't see it because it's so overgrown it's so creepy because it's overgrown with trees. It's overgrown with weeds, grass. There's just the walkways are the only thing that's clear, and they're really cool. It's not a mess. It's just beautiful. To me, it's beautiful because it's so old. I don't want to scare anybody away from there. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
And they can't publicize it's George Michael's, where his grave is. It's private. His family didn't want people to see it till about 3 or 4 months ago. They decided they put it on the map. But they don't tell you about it. You don't know it's his because his last name was Papalamagus or something like that. So, Parapunctu, something. But yeah. Anyway, it was just pretty cool. Pretty cool to see all that
That's
stuff.
awesome. Yeah.
You're welcome, Nicole. Like I said, next time I'll try to be a little bit better prepared with a few more. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad y'all had a good time. So
yeah. Thank you. One day we're going to make it down to Waverly Hills and right in your area, Chris.
Well, that'd be exciting. Yeah,
we're going to. And I was talking with Michael over there in FDL, and just all the stuff that they have over there. It's we have a lot of stuff here in the States. We do, and I appreciate that we have that, and that's awesome. And I do want to hit them all. But when you go over there and you're just surrounded in, our 1,600 buildings, 1,700, 1,800 buildings that I've seen are few and far between, separated from each other. Over there, you're just like, bam, 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 bam. They're all right there in a row. I'm not surprised that he finds the girl from The Ring in one of those buildings because they're so old and there's so much history over there. We have tons of history, but it's just crazy.
They decided to put George Michael's grave on before all the people who heard of him are dead too.
Yeah. Like I said, we went over there. My wife loved George Michael. She loved the music and all that stuff, and so it was emotional for her. But for me, I was glad to see. Just not glad, but it was beautiful to see all the tombstones and stuff and the monuments. And they actually have different things for monuments. Like there's a like half a pillar on top of the monument. That they're big, beautiful monuments. That means that they died too young. They had like a lion on top of one guy's monument, and it was because he was a zookeeper. But they were massive stuff. Deadwood, South Dakota. That is one of the things I'd like to do, Yolanda. I'd like to go there. But yeah, it was pretty cool stuff.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad y'all had a good time.
Yes, sir.
Glad you made it back. So absolutely glad y'all had a good time. So yeah, missed you.
The victims of the plagues. Brian was asking. I'm thinking there was the cholera.
Yeah, he wanted to know, did they burn the bodies? Because somebody fact checked me. I don't think the Catholic Church cremation. Let me fact check that. Cremation.
There was a few, but there was like maybe 10 or 15 of them that were cremated, and they were all in the same little cell, so to speak. The other people were all buried on top of each other, family.
1963, John Pope, I can never say the Roman numerals, lift the ban on cremation. In 1966, John Paul, whatever, allows Catholic priests to officiate cremation ceremonies. So yeah, I knew it was in the 60s.
Yep. And Eric's right. They did talk about that. The grave, having cages over the top of the graves, that prevents grave robbers. And we are talking, Erica, going to Scotland and Ireland next year. That's on our bucket list for next year. And I want to do a castle over there. And I also want to go to the Highlands, but that's personal preference. Edinburgh, do a couple castles there, or York. York's a cool one. Mass graves and no burning. Yeah. I don't recall them saying that they burn anything. Now I do remember in the catacombs in Paris, I don't remember them burning anything at all. I'm sorry. I really don't. So, but yeah, it's just neat stuff. Things Network's on there. All right. Hey, oh, that's you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, one other thing we did, guys. We went to Brighton Beach, which is an hour and a half away from London. It's on the English Channel. Now there's, talking FDL and all that. There's different things about it. It was beautiful to me. They have this big like UFO thing that goes 600 feet in the air, and they pick you up. It comes down, picks you up. It's like the Superman ride at Six Flags. Raises you all the way up it, but it's glass all around it, so you can look all around, see for miles. And they had a boardwalk there. They actually reminded you of different places I've been where they have roller coasters on the piers and stuff like that. Coney Island. That was actually pretty cool, and it wasn't that expensive to get there. You just take a train from London. The Seven Sisters Cliffs are there, stuff like that. Isle of Wight you can see from this thing.
Now the cages for the vampires is the ones that had it around their neck, where the bar around their neck or the blade when they buried you. Yes, that's what that was.
The H.H. Holmes, I don't recall anybody talking about H.H. Holmes, do you?
No, H.H. Holmes had it was a take on the
Whitechapel
horror story.
Oh, H.H. Holmes, yeah, that was a take on the American.
Murder House.
It was, and correct me if I'm wrong, it was H.H. Holmes, the Murder House on, they actually made a American Horror Story about him.
I think so.
Kind of based on that, yeah. But the med school's paying for skeletons, but I could see him doing that. But I didn't recall in London them guys talking about it at all. So thanks for bringing that up, though, Rebecca. I could be wrong. I've been wrong many times. Yeah, Catherine says either one for me. She'd like to go anywhere.
Hey, y'all come to my studio if y'all want to have some fun.
Yeah, there you go. When we come down, we're going to visit that studio, Chris. I'm gonna check those dolls out for real.
Yeah, right. Right, your EMF, your Trifelds, your radiation, whatever you want, right? So,
yeah. But no, man, it was great. I appreciate you letting me talk about it.
Yeah, I'm glad you're all back and everything. Make sure Eric get in contact with Tracy. If
Please.
not, I'll hook you all up. Did you did the Valal, the Dracula? That's Romania. That is correct. That's not London.
Yep.
That's Romania.
Yeah, it's in the mountains up there.
Yes.
And so next week, so you guys know, we have Daniel Kloss coming on. I don't know if anybody knows who Daniel is. Daniel's actually a really good guy. He's been a friend of mine. Well, not a friend, but an acquaintance of mine for a while. He owns the Hinsdale House in Buffalo, and it should be a really good interview. So just wanted to make sure I said that before we got off here.
Roger's like, I'll pass, mate. I don't want to go to Grizzlies studio, mate. I'll just have a cup of tea with my biscuits.
There you go.
So yeah, but no, I think that'd be a great show for next week.
Yeah, it should be, and I think I have a couple more people lined up right after that too. That everybody will enjoy talking to. So
awesome.
What's $2.99, Lala?
So Catherine, I won my appeal with YouTube, so people can donate now.
Okay.
For my YouTube channel to help cover subscription costs and fees and stuff. And I had to fight YouTube because they didn't like the content. So Catherine was showing me how to do this, and it took me almost Catherine, a month. So now people can use GoFundMe because they you know how you can donate on Facebook through the stars.
Yeah,
to give more. For some reason, all the platforms it wasn't working. So Catherine got with me, and now I got that approved through YouTube. So now we can use the GoFundMe, Cash App, Venmo, and Super Thanks through YouTube. So it's
that's
very
awesome.
nice. So
Oh,
yeah,
good, man.
so thank
I'm
you,
glad.
Lala.
Yeah.
So Eric, you two need to hook up. I'll send you all's information. So yeah. My grandson was on missions in Romania in June, saw a torture castle. No, I'll be wearing so many crucifixes, it look like I'll be Mr. T. So yes, a cup of tea and bit. That's the only thing everybody I talk to. What are you doing? I'm having tea with the biscuit. The hell is everybody with tea and biscuits over there? You know, I call Michael at 7 o'clock in the morning, my time. It's, noon or 1 his time. What are you doing? I have a cup of tea, mate. Hell, why don't you have a pop, or coffee or something? It's always tea.
Coffee over there.
Yeah, they do have coffee over there too. We did see coffee.
Is it coffee or is it an espresso?
They had that too. They had a little bit of everything. It was a mix. We had a Sunday roast when we were there. That was pretty good. We had a mash and bangers is what it was called.
Look what Roger just threw up on the screen.
I'm a hillbilly.
Let me tell you something. I had some. I used to get some shine from my neighbor in Indiana. It was so good. No matter what flavor you got, you could go to bed and wake up and be like Superman. Didn't feel nothing. And moon pies. Whoa, let me talk about moon pies. You are hitting the old days with Grizzly right there with moon pies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't seen moon pies in stores in a while. I have to go back and look next time I go to the gas station. Yolanda's laughing. You ever had a moon pie, Tracy?
Oh yeah. Yep, I enjoy them. I do.
What's your favorite?
I like the yellow ones. The regular yellow moon pie.
I like the chocolate.
Yeah, Kelly likes the chocolate. I like the regular ones. They actually had
the
strawberry ones at one. What's the yellow one's banana, ain't it?
Banana.
That's what I like, yeah. And I think they had strawberry at one time. I remember buying a strawberry one like years ago. I ain't had one in a couple of years, but yeah, they do sell them up here at different places. So
man, what happened? I'm linked to like 25 messages like popped up. Man, y'all cracked me up with moon pies and moonshine, Roger. Yes. Nicole, you ever had a moon pie? Tea and crumpets. Well, I know what Nicole is then if she's talking about crumpets. You ever had a crumpet while you was over there in the UK, mate?
No, I didn't have a crumpet. We didn't have a crumpet, did we? Yeah, we did.
We had
a scone. We had a scone.
We still have one in the fridge.
Yeah, we have one. We still have one in the fridge, which I probably won't eat now. It's
Rebecca. Hold up, Rebecca. Rebecca. Now let me explain something to you. If you got the right shot, it is some good stuff. Now, I'm just telling you, it is good. Now, to tell the good from the bad before you drink it, you put some on the sidewalk or your back porch and you light it. And you look at the color of the flame. If it's orange, beware. If it's blue, you're okay. I'm just telling you. So just think about that. And Roger's like, how did he know that? Yeah. So be careful with that orange flame when it comes to that. What'd she say? Bangers and mash?
Yeah, we had that. We had the bangers and mash, and then we had a breakfast. We had a British breakfast. Yeah, beans and toast, sausage, fried egg, and whatever else was with it. It was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I don't eat breakfast too often like that. It's bacon. They had yeah, it was a different kind.
Calls them whoopie pies. Why would you call them whoopie pies?
He makes a big whoopie pie for birthday, huh?
Yes, the banana moon pies are good. So Nicole has actually has a moon pie before. I guess
Oh, we
she
had fish
likes
and
them.
chips too.
Now I bet the fish and chips were outstanding, weren't they?
Dude, I tell you what, they were really good. They were excellent over there. And we went to places that, Poppy's, I think, was one of them. And surprisingly enough, we got back late one night to the hotel, and there was a bar that was open downstairs, bar and grill, and or a pub, and that was probably the best fish and chips I've ever had. It was like a 15-inch long piece of fish, and it was really, really good. So,
dang God, that's awful, man. Did you see? Golly, standing, yeah, he was standing stone. He got some bad shine, brother. That's why I catch mine on fire before I drink it. They think I'm crazy, but I always catch mine on fire.
When I used to drink,
fire does not lie.
When I used to drink years ago, we called it moonshine. It's basically Everclear with a bunch of other things. But yeah, it was good stuff.
No, that's called fruit punch. Now I tell you.
Well, yeah, we did make that before too.
Now I tell you what we had growing up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you're all gonna laugh. Mad Dog 2020.
Oh yeah.
Mad Dog, baby. Can you believe they still make that?
Yes,
$2.29. Get a half or a pint.
I remember when
$1.99, $2.29.
Milwaukee's Best was $1.99 for a 6-pack.
So
that was many years ago. Probably still the same price now, though.
How many other people, before I let y'all go ahead, Mad Dog 2020 when we were kids? There was a liquor store down there on downtown Louisville. He used to pull up and he was like, I know exactly what you want. You want strawberry, grape, or something else.
Yeah.
Because he would not let us come in the store because he knew we were underage, but he would sell us to the drive-through.
That's what we would do, go through the drive-through and get it. Cisco, you remember Cisco?
Oh,
that was another one that was like that. Oh man, that was a strong, just like Mad Dog 2020. Yeah, she's got Standing Stone says Boone's Farm. Yeah, I remember all that.
Yeah, Boone's Farm. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
But
blood sausage. Yep, Eric, that was there.
Because when you eat one, you say whoopee. They crack me up. But so Yolanda, yes, Mad Dog. There's somebody that remembers Mad Dog. Brian, I know you got to remember. Called a trash can party in Michigan. Everybody brings something and it goes in.
Yep. Then you put fruit on top of it. You let that fruit soak for like 2 or 3 hours, and then you eat the fruit. And you get more drunk off the fruit than you do drinking the drink.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah. People don't realize how addictive that fruit can be when it's filled up with alcohol. It can really mess you up.
Sausage is really good. You can still buy the blood sausage at the store. Mm-hmm. I actually had some. It's really not that bad. Mad Dog 2020 was the worst hangover ever. I can see Brian. Oh Jesus, help me! I'll never drink again. Please, oh God, I'll never do it again. You know how many times I heard that people pray to the porcelain gods?
Oh yeah, so, I got a good one for you. I drank when I was like 16. I don't like to talk too much about it because I don't drink.
I heard her in the background. Oh, stop.
I'm like 9 years sober, so I don't drink anymore. But I was like 16 years old. Me and my cousin got a gallon of peach schnapps.
Oh,
a full gallon, and it was a glass gallon, right? And then we got a 2-liter 7-Up, and in 4 hours between us, my cousin was a woman, a gallon, and she didn't drink that much at that time. So I think I drank like 3/4 of that thing. To this day, I still can't handle the smell of peaches. Anything that smells like that, it makes me want to throw up. It was so bad, it was horrible. But it was a good night. But from what I remember.
Anyway, unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that goodness take us back to good old days, Yolanda. Yeah, you and Rebecca taking hold of the wheel. Not this time. I got you, Sangria. I knew somebody was going to bring it up sooner or later.
Yeah.
Lala, I remember Mad Dog. Yeah. See, Jungle Juice. That's what it was called. Jungle Juice.
Yep.
Yes. We used to take a cooler and everybody used to dump everything in it. And then we put ice in it. And yes, Jungle Juice. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But Tracy, one of my trash can parties, fruit was always the first to go. Well, yeah, of course it was. But anyways, we'll catch you all, ladies and gentlemen, on the next show from coast to coast. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a good time. I'm glad you're all back, Tracy. And
Yep. Thank you.
And we'll
Thank
catch you on the next one. Take care.
All right, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Ha ha ha.